Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
All right, and we're back.
I immediately tell the communications officer to send this down to Tanari with the algorithm for the sensor readings, so you can begin calibrating.
Absolutely, sir. There's other information that came along with this.
The sensors are most important. Dig into that while we deal with the rest of the situation.
Roger that, sir.
As soon as I get it, the crew and I will immediately begin altering the sensors.
Okay. This kind of alteration, especially based on on the work you've done previously, because it's literally your work that kind of led to this, would be terribly easy in a no-time situation. We are obviously in the middle of combat, so this is a bit stressed, but because you've done that previous work, this challenge is not particularly difficult. It is simply a task difficulty of 2 to get everything calibrated, and it should make basically all of your ship sensors will function as normal, eliminating the scene trait in this, the environmental trait that takes place in this region of space. If you would care to roll.
All right. Would this be daring engineering or reason engineering?
I would say reason makes the most sense, unless you find a reason to make it more daring. If you're going to try
I'm fine with that.
way to do it.
Let me go ahead and spend a threat to get an extra dice. I believe with my crew that'll push this down to 1. So that's 14. I have 3 successes, and if someone would like to roll for the ship.
Glenn, you want to take it on for that one?
Sure, I can do that. The ship has
Sensors engineering.
so that should be a success.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Excellent. Excellent. So that definitely you are maxed out for momentum, but how many total successes did that give you?
You got how many successes, Glenn?
1.
So that's 4 successes.
Okay, so you have some momentum spends at this point.
So Lee, that Klingon bird of prey is an old style Burrell bird of prey, right? I thought you had mentioned it was the old style.
It is.
So, since we've been allies with the Klingons for so many years during the Dominion War and all that, can we spend a momentum, whatnot, to, in this sensor calibration, also detect the particle signatures that are put off by the Burrell while cloaked?
Yes, be okay with that.
And so we had 3 extra, and I'll say, how about a 4th for a double advantage?
They're online, and they are. You will have the ability to detect the ship. That ship.
All right. Then once we've got that, I will send that information up to the bridge. Captain, we have them.
Excellent.
Your communications person will let you know that what he sent was a series of coded images of the destruction of the colony. And say, do you want me to put it on screen, sir?
No, we can deal with war crimes later. Alik, find me that cloaked bird of prey.
They have the ability, so at this point it is a task 2, no additional complications from the environment.
Alik will have to wing it.
You have the ability to do it because it will pick it up, but you still have to be looking in the right area. So depending on how good they are at piloting, that's where the challenge is at this point.
A sensor sweep task is... Go to the main rulebook, and we go to our bridge actions. Sensor sweep, reason science. And actually, so it's reason science, but Alik's going to be looking for, because again, the subspace interference and the subspace, the distortions from subspace, right?
Yep.
So he's looking for the quote-unquote subspace wake that the cloaked bird of prey is creating as it moves through space.
All right.
He's going to use his subspace mechanics focus, and he needs a reason science, so a 16, difficulty 2. He'll buy 1 die with momentum.
Okay.
5, 6, and 12, so 4 successes.
All right.
And he generates a bonus momentum with his dedicated focus in subspace mechanics.
You got it tracked. You see where it's headed. It is on an attack run, and it is about to bear down and fire at the Dilamus Christian. What I will do, because you have that information as it's about to take its turn, is increase its difficulty to hit you because you are now aware that it's happening.
Can I spend 2 to keep the initiative?
I will say no because I am planning to make sure that they go first by spending my 2.
Knowing what we know, can we use that information to bolster the shields from that direction?
I will let you spend momentum to divert power to shields, to increase power to shields, or what have you, to do because of the insane time crunch. It is going to be a challenge to get that done in a timely manner. So, in this particular case, we are definitely in task 3 category, but there are no additional complication ranges for the action.
I'll let Tanari divert power to the port quarter.
Alright. Then since we've got it, I can go ahead and spend 1 momentum to buy an extra dice for this.
Yes.
Alright. And then the engineering crew drops the difficulty by 1. And Lee, would this be daring or reason engineering?
Based on the timing, I would say daring, because you're trying. Basically, you got this information as its weapons are about to fly. So,
I've got 1 success. Should have bought a dice with a threat, but that's my bad. Someone want to roll for the ship?
What are we rolling? I'll roll. It's systems and... No, wait. What does shields fall under?
Structure security?
or actually, you're doing a power thing, so it could be engineering. It could be an engineering.
You want me to go with engineering?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. So I get one roll at a 10, and I rolled a 2, which I believe is a double.
No, we only have an engineering rating of 1.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm looking at the other one, but it still helps.
Means we got 2 successes.
All right, and it was 3, so you are not able to get those.
But the engineering staff drops the difficulty by 1.
Correct. The shields, I'm going to basically have that just add an extra point of resistance as a result. think that works. So it is coming in for the attack. It is going to do, and they are going to mirror your actions. So they are going to fire a photon torpedo spread. They have high yield torpedoes, and they are going to buy a die with threat. And what is my difficulty to hit the Dilamus Christian?
You're at medium range.
Actually, they're at medium.
With the torpedoes, it'll be a 3.
And security would be a 10, so that's 1 success, 2 successes, 3 successes. The ship itself gets to roll 1 die. I'm not making that mistake a second time. Which I just dropped that die on the floor because it was obviously about to be bad. The ship rolls a 10. It is weapons 8. Security 2, so it's a 10, so it is successful. So that would be 4.
So you generate a threat.
Their weapons are high yield with 5 challenge dice, so it's going to be the person firing. It's their security plus the 5, is that correct?
No, it's the ship's security rating.
Okay.
So it should just be 5 dice. If I'm looking here, it's a Burrell.
Yeah, 5 dice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, so the 5 is telling me what it is. I gotcha.
Because they've already done the math, it's 3 plus 2.
Roger that. So we have 3 dice, 2 deltas.
So you've got 5 right now.
Yep.
So our resistance rating is 6 right now, so this attack is not even penetrating our shields.
And it takes 2 to that's correct. Is it 1 to penetrate resistance?
One threat, it reduces the resistance by 2.
Okay.
So if you were to spend it, it would be as though our resistance was 4.
Yep.
And you would do 1 tip of shield damage, not enough to cause a breach or anything.
All right. I will do that.
All right. So we have taken.
And we get the classic sparks flying across the bridge.
No, this was just a kaboom, like shields down to 92%.
Yep. My thing is falling on me.
You got it. So we don't all lurch to the right.
We do the rock. The shields are at 92%.
Yeah. So, all right. We have 6 momentum, so again, I'm going to spend 3 of them to get the 2 extra dice, and that'll put me at 4.
I will direct you, phaser fire, full spread.
Wow, they're dodging. So I am going to use my cautious security to re-roll that 20. So that means I get 2 successes and 3 successes.
So I rolled a 4, so you get 2 successes on my assist, and you can re-roll an extra die from my advisor talent.
Okay, I will re-roll one of those. That would be another success, so I would have 4 in total.
So you have 4, I have 2. Weapons, security. Ooh, rolled a 1. 8 total. 8 total, difficulty 2, 6 extra momentum, and 2 extra because it's a phaser. We'll just spend the 2 for it to punch right through the resistance.
Okay.
So we've got 6. We've got 3 extra free-floating momentum right now.
Correct.
All right. And phaser array, 7 challenge dice. Adam?
7, you said, yes?
Yes, sir.
So that is... Do we care about deltas?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 3 deltas. So total is 6, not 9.
Perfect.
All right. So you did 6 damage to it.
Yes.
It has shields.
So we reduce its resistance by at least 4.
Yep.
If that clears the resistance, otherwise we'll spend another momentum.
It does clear the resistance.
Okay, so we do 6 damage, which causes a breach.
Yep.
And then we have the spread effect, which hits another location on the system, on the ship, for half damage plus 1 for each delta rolled, up to the maximum of the original attacks. We hit it twice with 2 6s for double breach.
So this ship is limping.
And hold on one second. I've got a bunch of more momentum. Sorry, because I am done with these guys. They are no longer on my Christmas card list. So I'm going to spend... Where's my ship momentum actions? Perfect. I am going to spend 2 more momentum for a devastating attack.
Okay.
So that is an additional system is hit and suffers an additional hit at half damage. And then I'm going to add 2 more bonus momentum. So I'm going to spend 4 of our 6 to make that devastating additional attack 5 stress. So we've hit the ship for 6, 6, and 5. So 12, 17 through shields. So that should cause 1, 2, 3, 4 breaches.
The last time you hit one of these Klingon ships, you hit it and it gave them time to escape. They all escaped to this particular ship. They did their thing. This time, your hit was so brutal and in such a way that Alik says, "Sir, we've breached their..." And their warp core goes. That whole ship is just evaporated. There are very few pieces of this vessel left. It is done. Absolutely done. And its proximity as it was coming in to attack you was close enough to the freighter that it has struck the freighter and the shields on the freighter have gone down. And the freighter is now... You already damaged its engines. Its impulse engines are now down, and it is adrift, and you can see it listing in 3-dimensional space as it is completely disabled. And you can see there are pockets of area where atmosphere is slowly starting to vent. It is not breached. It's not a total thing. It's not going to explode, but it is badly damaged and completely incapable of fighting. You have eliminated any ship threat other than what is on your ship, and any attempt to hopefully rescue Damon Brazic. Towards that end, we return. There were 2 of them left in the transporter room.
There's 2 left in here, one under the transporter pad and the one that went for the door.
Yeah. So the one that went for the door can't get through the door because now it will not open on its own. It turns and is running for it looks like it's about to run for under the transporter pad.
Oh, it sounds like we need to cook that one too. Najar had pivoted towards it already, as it's the only one out and exposed since the other one is beneath the transporter pad, and drew a bead on it and fires his phaser rifle.
Excellent.
I'll grab I'll give you a threat for an extra die. My gift to you.
It's accepted with a smile.
Oof! I've got 3 successes and a complication. One of those is critical.
Okay, so you did successfully hit the creature. I'll discuss the complication after we resolve your damage. Okay, so deltas are the 5-6, or are they the 1-2?
5-6.
Okay. So on the first 6 dice, I have 5 with 4 deltas. Look, I can do math now that I figured it out. And on the next 3 dice, I rolled all 2s. So that's 3 more for 8 with 5 deltas.
Excellent.
Four deltas.
You destroy this thing. Similar fashion, it cooks up and burns. But however, its position, and this is where your complication comes in, was as it was running towards basically the air ducts for this room, and you blow a hole in the grate, opening up a way to get into the environmental systems, and that's your complication. And the other one books it for that hole and will get into that hole and hits the environmental systems.
I will use 2 momentum, the last 2 momentum, to quick action and try to cook it before it makes it.
Okay.
You can have another threat.
Excellent.
So that I can buy a 3rd die, and that is 3 successes. First 6 dice, there are no 3s and 4s, so that is 1, 2, 3 deltas, 3 regular, and then the other 3, 2 more deltas, and a 2. So 1 and 3 plus 1 and 2 more is 5, 6, 7 with 5 deltas.
Okay. So you strike it. I'm not going to have you roll the dice and such. They only have 1 stress. Basically, when you hit it, is destroyed. However, I am going to spend my 2 threat for something that no one can notice or see.
The board is cleared.
Heard. So the one in the jet freeze tubes lived. That's where those 2 threat went.
If you keep spending threat, you're never going to catch up to Dismuke.
I know.
You're correct. Y'all convinced me to not go with the 3 threat for this adventure that I wanted to last time, and I realized as I was writing this, as I was updating and preparing for tonight, that I really should have held my ground, because that would have helped me a lot here, just to have a little bit more to play with. But in the end, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. So you have the Dilamus Christian, which has taken almost no damage, basically some little shield bump. You have completely obliterated 2 Klingon birds of prey, and you have a thoroughly disabled freighter, and you have at least 1 ally who is probably somewhere on that ship, and an unknown number of enemies of this nature on that ship. How would you like to proceed? This is going to be the end of this scene. We have the combat, and the boarding action is over. So this would be the end of the scene. We're going to move to another scene. There are no momentum. There are no threats to clear. So we are now at the point where we need to figure out what we're going to do. We are in Act 2. And we come back to the bridge. Commander Tobor?
Yeah, so bridge to transporter room 1.
Pretty sure I'm in transporter room 2.
I know, that's why I'm calling it 1, because you're
Okay,
not
just making sure.
all the fiery.
Yes, sir.
Lock on to Damon Brazig and beam him over here.
Sir. Yes,
Security fields.
They're still in place.
It is highly likely that he's been infected.
I've got him, sir. Tobor! Tobor, my friend! You've saved me! Latinum is pure, but an ally that you previously paid... Ugh! It's as good as rent payments. I love it!
Bridge to Lieutenant Najar.
Captain.
Take your security team to transporter room 1. Secure the daemon. Check to make sure he's not infected.
Understood, sir.
Lewanika, I'm going to send out a coded message to the USS Pulsar, which was the ship that we had reached out to last episode, that was going to meet us in several hours. I'm going to let them know that I'm going to keep it very brief. So I will simply let them know that be wary approaching. Disabled freighter and two Klingon birds of prey may carry infection. Keep shields up at all times, or whatever Starfleet protocol would suggest to them that they need to approach with caution and assume that they could be still coming into a hostile environment.
Roger that.
What about our kill switch?
In the moment that you're about to send that, what you recognize is this. All external communication blacked out per Neural Parasite Protocol 1111.
Very good. I reach over to the command console. Computer, disable Neural Parasite Protocol 1111. Authorization Tobor Ep.14.
Code invalid.
Yeah, not surprised.
All right.
You had mentioned that there were subspace bursts being sent out from our ship as part of this new protocol.
Correct.
Can we identify where they've been sent?
One has been sent to Aslan Station, and the other has been sent Starfleet Academy. And as
Academy.
Specifically, the office of Commodore Pritchard.
He wasn't sure where he was going to be.
So I will relay that to Captain Tobor, that it looks like we're waiting for Pritchard to release us.
So it would seem. We all do the thumbprint check to not kill everyone. In fact, actually at this point in time, I'm going to put a ship-wide communication out that all crew are to report to designated Epsilon safe area, main engineering, bridge, and sick bay.
All personnel are moving in Najir. Are you going to the bridge? And what about the two security personnel that are with you?
Me and the two security personnel went to collect Damon Brazig as instructed. And then we need to verify that he is not infected, which I would imagine, if I can't determine with the tricorder, involves escorting him to sick bay. Or asking a medical team to meet us in my security office and putting him in a cell.
The beauty is, with this strange light, as you break out a tricorder to do that, because all of your things are part of this ship, effectively, it's equipment from this ship, it is also on Epsilon Protocol, and it simply indicates no detection of neural parasite. It just
Actually,
says
detecting
that. And that's a function that it didn't really have before. It seems to only be engaged during this protocol.
Actually, detecting the parasites, isn't it just a matter of a physical examination, checking the back of the neck for the gill?
You can do that way as well, but this is doing it so you don't have to get in contact with them. Okay. It basically just scanned it, which is something that you guys have not had at your disposal. And it is something that seems to be very unique, and it is not anything that any of you had ever seen or knew that the Dilamus Christian can do. It's like the Dilamus Christian has a built-in ghost protocol for exactly this circumstance. What are you doing? Let me out of here!
In that instance, once I knew we wouldn't even leave the transporter room then. If I could tell, we wouldn't take him to a cell. If in the transporter room I could confirm with a tricorder, right after that, once I knew he was safe to touch, I would then double-check the back of his neck. Touch my comm badge and say, Commander Tobor, Damon Brazig appears to be clean. Would you like me to bring him to the bridge?
No, escort him to sick bay, please.
Understood, sir. And that's where we're taking him.
I gotta get to Tobor. I gotta tell him what's going on. Clearly, you guys didn't hear the message.
Commander Tobor instructed me to take you to sick bay, Damon, so that is where you're going.
Oh my goodness. I better get paid double for this. Let's go.
Paid double? As we're pulling your bacon out of the fire, I think you may be paying us.
See, twice of nothing is...
At this point, the comms person says, Sir, do you want the rest of that information on screen?
Is it relevant to the immediate situation?
It's a bit long-winded, as the Damon is prone to be, but it does have some pictures that are probably going to be important to look at.
Is it relevant to the immediate situation of regaining control of my ship?
Sir, I'm seeing some things that I have never seen before. I am not really confident in what I'm looking at, but based on the fact that the Damon did everything in his power at risk of his own life to send you this message, it is my advised opinion that it must be critical.
Route it to my station, play at double speed.
it gets routed to your station. It's playing at double speed. And
Yep.
what you were able to watch is several of these Klingons loading really weird organic egg-like things into various crates and probes. You also see a picture of several of these egg-like things in front of large numbers of colonists, something like 1 egg to 20 colonists. You see these egg-like things opened up and colonists' later bodies. And it is fairly clear a couple of things based on the colonists, because there are various species. There are certain species that they just outright kill. And there are other species that seem to walk away. One of the things you notice is no Ferengis are ever possessed. They are all basically murdered. What you also notice is that these Klingons seem to be conducting types of experiments. They are literally testing who they can possess. So they now know who they can possess. And they have loaded this freighter and a different ship that left earlier with these probes and these eggs. But the freighter has at least 60 of these eggs. And 5 of which are in probes that are warp capable. While the ship is disabled at present, their launchers are not.
Once I realize this, I will arm the phasers as I'm explaining why out loud. But
Fire.
Yeah, no. Oh, you want me to blow the ship up? Yeah, yeah. I open fire.
We're not going to go into the mechanics of it. All the shields are down. It's done. The 2 threat that was spent gets 1 probe launched at warp, and it disappears from view as you destroy the freighter.
And you said that each probe had how many?
Each probe had 2 or 3 eggs. Each egg had about enough for 20.
For engineering, at least try to track the direction the probe was going.
It is going to be somewhat challenging because these probes can be programmed and directed. So if it went on a straight trajectory, it would be fairly easy, but it's not. So this is going to be a situation where it is going to be a difficulty of 4, and this will have an increased complication range of 17.
All right. First of all, definitely spend a threat for an extra dice. Reason engineering?
We're on a clock. This is the kind of thing where, because it can change its trajectory, if you don't catch it fast, you're not going to get it. I actually think this is one where daring comes into play.
Okay.
I think you got to be really fast on the typing fingers to grab it. But if you really want to go reason, that's your call.
I'm good with daring. Let's see. The engineering crew will drop the difficulty by 1.
Yep. So we're at 3.
Captain, you want to assist?
I'm going to assist with my advisor.
Okay.
Track it through the warp field wake that it's causing through subspace per the algorithm, blah, 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 blah.
Can my warp field dynamics focus work?
Absolutely.
All right. I got 3 successes, and I did get a 20.
Okay.
Well, I got a 13, so I succeed, and my advisor talent lets you re-roll 1d20.
Yep, so does my bold engineering.
Almostly.
Yeah.
I got a 13, so that means I got 4 successes flat out.
And 5 with me.
Someone want to roll for the ship?
Adam, you want to roll for the D?
Yep. That's just science, which would be
14.
14.
Thank you. No, I rolled a 15.
I believe we've got 5 successes.
All right.
Difficulty 3 generates 2 momentum.
You've got 2 momentum. There is 1 threat. You are able to track it, and it is definitely headed into Breen space, and you are able to track it through 3 or 4 course changes, but it is moving at warp 2 towards Breen space, and it is capable of more changes at this point, but you're able to follow it. So you can get to where it is if you go to warp, but you would have to get moving right now, and then to do that.
I'll order the ensign at the helm for follow that probe, warp 6.
Yep. Luson, his third arm comes out, and that he's utilizing the protocol that was set up so he can use his various abilities. He says over comms, he says, Lieutenant Tenari, can you give me your sensor readings direct to my auxiliary screen?
Linking it in right now.
And he is off. The ship is in pursuit. You are tracking it through its changes, and as it approaches Breen space and you get there, that this probe breaks up.
Come on, Lee.
What lies dormant?
The probe. It breaks up. It didn't explode. It popped open, and as you come out of it, stops warp. You catch it, and that it's cracked open, and its scans will let you know that there's nothing in it.
Launch the Eagle and the Tank Abbott. Start a sweep pattern. We have to find and destroy these eggs.
While we were in pursuit, something that I would have liked to have been doing to see whether or not I could piggyback on these substate space transmissions that are being pulsed out to Pritchard.
Oh, actually, before you do that, Adam, I have a thing I wanted to follow up on so once all the crew is to the designated safe areas,
yeah,
and everyone checks in, we all three initiate the neural parasite purge.
Yep.
And I hope that will give us back control of the ship. If I know how Pritchard thinks.
Once the purge is engaged and you're in transit, it does give you back control.
Okay.
That was exactly what needed to happen. Very well done. Kudos, Matt. I didn't do a whole lot to telegraph that, so I really think that was a master stroke. In regards to piggybacking, and I may not have clarified it very well, those were not continuous communications. That was a single state. What you were able to do is figure out where it got sent, and you would have access to what got sent. But it's not like a continuous thing that you can piggyback off of. Now that you have control, you've got communications back anyway, but you do have the ability to figure out what... Now that many parts of this threat have been dealt with, and you've got sensor sweeps and kind of area checks going on, you can figure out what... It's actually an exceptionally large area of space because they were going warp 2, but it wasn't for an exceptionally long period of time. So in the Star Trek world, it could be a difficult amount of space to search, but it's not enormous or completely unwieldy. You can do a search grid and kind of cover this within a day or so. You now have some time to figure out what all happened or how you all want to proceed.
Okay.
I expected to see Gul Dukat appear on our screens going, "Attention, Bajoran workers."
Right? Good analogy.
I am not going to say exactly where I may have had the idea for that, but I like where your head's at. I'll leave it at that.
Now, Captain, in all seriousness, I would like to beam the remains of that probe into the cargo bay to take a look at it.
If you can catch it without disrupting our search, go for it.
Okay.
Given the fact that we now have control of our comms, the changes to what I would be sending out are as follows. First, I would be contacting the Pulsar and letting them know that there's disabled and destroyed ships in the area. All debris and the local planet should be considered contagious. They should not approach without more information, and I will also provide, with the captain's blessing, an update to Pritchard.
Yeah, we download the logs and fire that off back to Astalon.
Yep.
As you do those actions, a couple things that those of you in the know on the bridge will be aware of is the message that goes out to the Pulsar, the Dilamus Christian's computers generated an attachment protocol that says Starfleet Intelligence, Captain's Eyes Only, and gave it an extremely high security level, and basically says all information about this incident is considered blacked out and shall not be discussed by any personnel, and you are to maintain distance to lend aid but not to approach, and that's automated by the Dilamus Christian.
Alright. So what do I need to roll to beam up the remains of the probe without interfering with the search?
No
Or is
challenges.
that something we can do automatically? Okay.
No difficulties whatsoever. You're able to beam it in. I assume Najir would have preferred there to be some kind of containment field just as a precaution. So that's easily done. You're able to get that, so you have some stuff that you can investigate to figure out what's going on there as well.
Najjar also
So I wanna
makes sure
go
the one dead specimen that we have is secured in medical in a containment field.
Absolutely is.
So I want to go over the probe, get as many clues as I can to find out where those eggs might have gone, how it distributes them, etc.
Okay. I will handle that in just a moment. Adam, I know you were planning on checking to make sure that, or follow up on the communications piece, is what I'm assuming, based on your earlier question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we know what you're going to be doing. And Joe?
Once the situation calms down enough, we launch the 2 runabouts and begin a search pattern looking for these bio-egg things. We'll incorporate the pulsar into the search once they get there. We'll deploy our own shuttlecrafts as well, and then senior staff and Damon Brazig to the conference room while the rest of the ship is on the search patterns.
So while the search is before you two engage in your various investigations, there's going to be a meetup. Najir, you are making sure specimens are placed securely in the correct locations. You have Damon Brazig effectively in your custody in medical, or in your team's custody. Do you wish to leave him there? Do you wish to bring him somewhere else? He's demanding to talk to the captain. And he's not even
Commander
asking.
Tobor asked me to bring him to medical. I bring him to medical.
I just, with this now thing, every senior staff and bring Damon Brazig to the conference room.
Once I had originally delivered him to medical, I would have left a security officer with him, but then gone to check on all of my teams that I have around the ship, congratulate them on, doing their jobs well, yada, yada, yada.
Vasily was basically in charge of Brazig, and as the other things happen, he will simply let you know. It's a good thing I don't need Latinum, because he promised me a whole lot to just let him go do what he wanted to do. I do really like the way we work. That's some mighty fine shooting, sir.
Thank you. Way to keep your head.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at targeting, but that was quick. I'm really impressed. Well done, sir. He gets back to his thing as you're taking Brazig up to the conference room. And you all are in the conference room, Commander?
Gentlemen, please sit. First off, let me express my congratulations and a job well done. You all executed your duties flawlessly. And even you, Damon Brazig, welcome. I'm sorry your ship had to be destroyed, but they were going to launch those probes. And thank you for the data and information. We'll make sure you get compensated adequately.
Thank you. I hate losing a ship, and I hate losing my best ship. But I got to see what those things can do, and once they get into a ship, you can't get rid of them. You just can't get rid of them.
Yes. So we are currently engaged in a search grid pattern to try and locate the contents that the probe released into the star system. Hopefully we're able to capture it, and if not, destroy it.
As the senior staff leaves the bridge, I would remain for a moment until the captain had left the bridge, and then I would walk up to behind Ensign Savan, who had provided the comms reports, and I will say to her, Ensign, your instincts were good with the danger that the transmission was providing. You need to show a little bit more initiative in providing the information. Letting us know that the ship had launchers would have been a great way to advise the captain, but your instincts were correct.
Yes, sir.
And
I think I understand, but the protocol is fairly clear. If information comes to me before I can send that out, I need to get approval or permission or direction. I was seeking that before I took those steps.
Yes, but telling him that you believe the ship should be destroyed would have been appropriate given the scenario. He would have asked for confirmation, but not held that against you. It was information that he needed to know immediately. But for next time. And then I'll turn and I'll walk away.
She very methodically turns back to her station and returns to her work. With that, Ocean is the final member of the senior crew to enter the conference room. And I assume you take your seat, Ocean, and Commander Tobor, the floor is yours.
Gentlemen, very well done. You all performed your duties exceptionally well, especially you, Lieutenant Najar. Your initiative to ensure that the counter ambush did not succeed is very good on your instincts.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for speaking out of turn on the bridge prior to that, though I still maintain that my instincts were correct there as well.
It was your duty to alert me to a potential threat to the ship. I knew it was going to be a threat, but it was a gambit I was willing to see through, knowing that we had backup protocols in place. Now, Damon Brazig, your ship, I must apologize that we were forced to destroy it before they could launch any further more of those probes out into the galaxy. We were able to beam you away, but unfortunately the rest of your crew who was compromised, we were not able to. I'll make sure that Admiral Pritchard knows and that you will be adequately compensated for your loss.
It would be a great step forward if I am able to compensate their families appropriately and open up some additional business opportunities for both myself and Aslan Station. We wouldn't want their families to think that they reach the great treasury lighter of wallet.
Indeed. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, but for Damon Brazig's illumination, this is an Epsilon Protocol incident. This entire incident and anything dealing with these parasites has been classified by order of Starfleet Command. This includes you, Damon. I know you are not technically a citizen of the Federation, but as a individual doing business with the Federation, if you wish to maintain your current standing within our territory, I will need you to keep strict confidentiality in this regards. Failure to do so will result in the seizure and a forfeiture of any and all assets that you may possess within the Federation, and prosecution and extradition with the Ferengi Alliance to the fullest extent of the law possible.
If you haven't said it before, Tobor, I'll say it again. Rule of Acquisition 284 probably applies to the Federation more than anybody else. Deep down inside, everybody's a Ferengi. You all have more ways to make sure you come out on top in a deal than any other species I know. That's why I love ya.
Now, that being said, I just want you to understand the scope and stakes that are involved so you don't get an itch behind your lobe and think you can make some extra latinum off of this information. This is radioactive.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Anybody who actually might even know anything about something like this, they're not going to believe that I got out of it okay. That would be bad for business. I'll keep my mouth shut.
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
I should tell you that they had another ship that left long before you got here.
Yes, we saw that in the information that you managed to beam out to us. So I appreciate your willingness to risk your well-being in order to get that information to me.
I was able to kind of get an idea that it was headed to Breen territory. So I don't think you're going to be able to track that one.
Mr. Tenari, I want you to work on examining that probe, determining if and how we can, if any kind of biological signatures that we can use to enhance our search pattern.
Understood, sir.
Mr. Chizilra, I want you to work on identifying that ship that left ahead of time. Figure out what we can, from the files that Damon Brazic provided, what information we can on that.
Understood. With that in mind, Brazic, did any member of your crew, particularly your first officer, board that other ship, or were they on your ship when it was destroyed?
Not when they were actually members of my crew.
That other ship left the system days, if not weeks ago.
But did it have your first officer or any of your other crew on it? Those are identifiable people.
No. Colonists. But my crew were on board ship. They helped move crates and creatures and probes. And
Lieutenant Najar, I want you to dig into our database on the colonists of Kentic 6. I want you to start pulling together a manifest of who all was on that colony so that when we go back to begin the recovery effort, we can match survivors or those who are missing and presumed to be infected by the parasites.
Understood.
Again, Mr. Chilzervin, please contact the Pulsar and incorporate them into our search patterns. This is tagged as a Epsilon incident. We are not to share any information with the Pulsar or any other Starfleet vessel that does not have pre-clearance as to the nature and existence of these creatures.
So I gave you
we want to bring them into the search grid?
They've already been read in to a certain degree, but yes, sir.
Very good. But a good instinct, Mr. Najar. But yes, no, as long as they're going to help us find them, they're not going to know specifically what they're looking for, anything more than the biological signature that hopefully Mr. Tenari can use to enhance the search.
With your permission, sir, I'd like to rope in Mr. Alicombe to assist me.
Of course. Yes, work with science in order to enhance whatever you need for the search parameters.
If you do not find enough biological material within the probe, there is also still the one that we killed with blunt force trauma and medical that could be examined and used as well.
Very good. Yes. If you need to, coordinate with Dr. New to get a sample of the creature. Depending on what we find here, how much of the material we recover or destroy, then we'll return to Kentic 6. Unless there's any other information that I'm missing. All right. I think we have our plan of attack, so let's be about it, people.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
As you disperse from the conference room, the scene is ending. There's a security person who escorts Damon to guest quarters. As that happens, he says, "Actually, if you take me to your sick bay, my lobes are killing me." Okay, sir. And then Vasily will take him there. Whereas I can see we're joking about, you were promising a lot of Latin. Like, what are we talking about? Oh, it was a lie. Always promise more Latinum than you're willing to part with, kid. But I like where your head's at. And then they go around the corner and head off to medical. At this point, the scene closes, and in the denouement, or the conclusion scene, you guys are going through your search grid. You are successful in locating the missing 2 probes, and they are found intact and disposed of. They did shut down, so one of the things you notice is that it had a beacon that was going off, so something was supposed to pick it up. You just found it before that thing got there. So they were going to predetermined locations to be picked up, and the pulsar found one, and as it was looking at, and it reports, we did find it, and its beacon had been pinged by an alternate vessel. They did catch that a vessel had pinged the probe, but that vessel saw us first and turned around. It seems to be some kind of Nausicaan fast liner, and its warp signature indicates that it was headed to Saltec 4. With that, we will end.